I love how Tony Robbins put it. Most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year, but underestimate what they can do in 10. So the next time that you're worried that you're not doing enough, remember that. And then use the 4 points we're gonna cover to hit your goals a lot faster while also stressing less. Starting with the key to stressing less, which that Tony Robbins quote actually tells you. Because when you think in longer time horizons, you give yourself room to not only get more done, but also to let time, well, work for you instead of against you. For example, one of the smartest things I've done for myself and my business, which to be completely transparent, actually started by accident, is that for the last 5 to 6 years, I've created a handful of new products every year. So now I have a library of about 30 products, which has made my business a lot more profitable and robust. But if I tried to create all those products in just 1 year, I would have lost my mind instead. And I think this is an analogy that you might find super helpful too. Instead of looking at every year in a vacuum, like, oh my gosh, I've got to get it all done by the end of this year, I looked at it as simply one piece of a much bigger puzzle. When you think about it this way, you can ask yourself, what can I do with this one piece to create the best overall puzzle? That puzzle being your business over your lifetime. And this is actually the same idea that took Warren Buffett from making his first million at the age of 32 to becoming a billionaire by 56. The point is, your results down the road could very well blow your mind too, which is why our first tip today is to think in decades, not days. But hold on, because I know even thinking about that can feel super overwhelming. Back when I was working a corporate job, I would hate it when people asked me, hey, what's your 5 to 10 year plan? I don't know. How am I supposed to know how much is going to change over the next 5 years? So don't worry. I am not saying that you have to have everything figured out for the foreseeable future. I'm pretty sure no one does, not even Warren Buffett. But there is a way to do this so that you don't have to be overwhelmed or stressed about figuring out all the details, while making sure that you get where you want to go. And that's where step number 2 comes in. One of my favorite analogies for this is driving using Google Maps. Because when you're using Google Maps, it's not really about following a set path. In fact, you want to get rerouted if traffic is bad, or shown a new path if you miss a turn. But there is one thing you need when you're on a drive, and that is to know where you want to end up. The same principle applies to your business. You probably won't be able to predict the exact path you're going to end up following. I don't think anybody can. But you do need to know what you want your end destination to be. In other words, and this is step 2, get clear on what kind of business you want to build. And for now, suspend your doubts about whether or not you can do it. We are going to get to that in just a bit. But first, use these 3 questions to help you face your dreams. Starting with question number 1. What revenue do you want to make? And seriously, don't be afraid to dream right now. For me, early on, even though I had no idea how I'd be able to do it, I knew that I wanted to build at least a 7-figure business. Question number 2. What do you want to be selling to make it? And again, you don't need to know the how right now, but you probably have at least some sort of idea what you enjoy selling and what you don't. And I think that your beliefs will play a huge part in this too. Growing up, I was taught that education, both through formal schooling and throughout life, is key to improving yourself. So it felt like a very natural thing for me to go into teaching via coaching and courses. Now, question number 3 might feel like kind of a curveball, but here's why it's so important. Just because you get clear on what you want doesn't mean that you're automatically also going to get clear on how to get it. In fact, it'll probably take you at least a few tries to figure it out. That's why most studies, and the researchers doing them, including Harvard Business School professor Joseph Fuller, agree that the most important trait when it comes to predicting whether or not you'll succeed is, surprisingly, adaptability. Which brings us to question number 3. What do you absolutely not want to have to do in your business? And I'd love to hear your answer in the comments. I think it's always helpful for all of us to see and hear what others are thinking and feeling. Because as long as you're clear on that and you're adaptable, you're gonna be able to roll with the punches until you have figured out exactly what you do want. Let me give you an example of why this is so important. So if you didn't know, I grew this business to its first 7 figures primarily through Facebook ads. But as we continue to scale, it got to a point where it felt like my job was recording new ads all the time. Plus, I had to keep such a close eye on cash flow. And all this combined made me feel like obsessing about ads was kind of taking over my life. I knew that that was not how I wanted to spend my time. So I had to adapt, even though it meant letting go of a 7-figure revenue stream. But honestly, not everything is about revenue. Just as important, if not more so, is your lifestyle. In case it isn't apparent, I am a huge introvert. So for my peace of mind, I need a calendar that's mostly empty. My favorite thing in the world is to just sit by myself and think and create. I also don't want to have tons of meetings that interrupt what's truly important to me, like being able to take my dog on long walks, being able to have lunch with my husband on the rare times he has a let up in his schedule, or being able to go see my parents. But it would be fake of me to just drop this info on you and be like, that's how your work-life balance should be. To be completely honest with you, as always, it took me many years to get to this point. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because you can have the business and the lifestyle that you want. You might just need to give it a little bit more work and time. For example, in the first 3 years or so of this business, I did not take off any evenings or weekends, and I worked almost nonstop. But it was worth it because I knew that the end result was going to be worth it. I wasn't working just to work, although I do really enjoy what I do. I was also working for the lifestyle that I now get to enjoy. And if that's what you're doing right now too, high five to you for putting in the work so that you can build your dream life too. Plus, you know what will help you get there faster? And this is what I personally did too. Focusing on the fundamentals, which is what we're gonna cover in step 3. Because basically, an online business can be broken down into just 3 main pieces. That's why your 3rd step is to create the systems that make these things as simple as possible for you. That way, you can focus on doing the things that you enjoy in your business. So piece number 1 of these 3 pieces is that you need a way to get new eyes on your business, because that's how you get found by new potential clients. And that's where your traffic systems come in. There are a lot of methods you can use to do this, but the one that I personally use and love the most is SEO, primarily through my blog. If you want to learn more about how to do that for your own business, because in my opinion, it's the most consistent and highest profit traffic generating system that you can build, I will link a video for that somewhere around here. Then, alongside all that awesome traffic generation you're doing, you also want to put lots of opt-ins, which offer a great freebie in exchange for someone's email. And this is where the second big piece of your online business comes into play. Because once your ideal clients find you, you also have to let them know about what you have to offer. That's the only way to fuel your business with actual sales. But you're also not sitting down and writing a new email every time someone signs up for one of your freebies. And this is a huge part of why having these systems is so important. Because let's be honest, you probably don't want to be spending your time doing the same things over and over. In this case, you want to create an automated email sequence that acts as a sales system to let your dream clients know how you can help them. And again, if you want to know more about this, I will link a video I have for you on that too. Then, once someone buys from you, of course, you have to deliver what you promised, which is where your delivery system comes into play. Think of these systems like Lego blocks in your business. You build one, stabilize it, then build the next one, and it all adds up. But there's one block in particular that can make or break your ability to build your dream business and life. And that's where step number 4 comes in. You want to ultimately create products that can scale without you. The good news is there are so many ways you can do this. If you're in the business of delivering a service, for example, then you scale by building a team and then training them to deliver the service without you. Back when I did my big live launches that brought in a few hundred students at a time, that's what I was doing as well. I'd have a team of program coaches that specialized in specific areas like sales, mindset, copywriting, ads. And they would help the students in their areas while I got to focus on what I love, the marketing and strategy side. But my favorite way to do this, and this is how I run my business now, is through self-study courses. These days, a lot of people come to me with that being their ultimate goal too. And if that's something that you're considering down the road for yourself as well, here's what I hope you take away from what I just shared. It is so possible, but be prepared to take it one step at a time. If you're patient, thinking in decades, not days, keep your eye on the prize from day one. Build the systems that will support you in growing, and build a business that can scale without depending on just you. I think you will amaze yourself with what you can accomplish too. But I'd also love to hear from you too. What is your biggest takeaway? What's one actionable aha that you've gotten from this video? Let me know in the comments. I can't wait to hear from you.